So now that you've worked with these guys for 2 days of spring ball, what are your initial takeaways or early impressions versus what you were able to see of them on film before you took this job?
Well, I'm pleased with their skill level. I'm pleased with their focus. We've got a lot of work to do. Truthfully, they're just getting to the point where they're getting to know me and what I expect, and vice versa. So it's a learning experience for all of us, but we're making strides.
For the last however many years, you would walk out onto a practice field and go right to the linebackers.
Yeah.
That's where you spent your time. How has this been different for you through 2 days with a new position?
Well, I coach the secondary too, so I'll go over there and help. We've got 2 new coaches, obviously, in the secondary, so we're forming relationships in those positions with those coaches, and we're also with me, and so I'm also helping there, and then I jump down with the D-line and just come and yell at them for a couple seconds, but they're doing great, and I think the guys are starting to get a good feel for each other. We're just trying to work on some chemistry right now.
Speaking of that secondary, Archie was telling us that Paris Ford really made some plays yesterday. What have you seen out of him so far, a guy that we didn't get to see last year because he was redshirt?
Well, they're all making plays. I would say to you, Paris made some good plays yesterday. Several of them did, but it's way too early to get too excited about anybody without pads on. We'll go on in pads on Thursday, and the game will totally change. It'll become a physical game. It'll become blocking, tackling, and so we'll hold our reservations or hold our opinions until after we get maybe through the first scrimmage here, and then I'll give you a better feel. But he's doing great.
I think you said the first time we talked to you that you wanted to try and carry over a lot of the terminology that the players were familiar with. How much carryover is there overall from
it's funny, I'm trying to just put the French into Spanish, if you would, for me. I spoke Spanish for the last 12 years, and they've spoke French, so it's taken me a little time, but I have taken my terminology and put it into our terminology here at Pitt. Are we doing some different things? Yes, but we're forming it through the Pitt terminology, if you will.
What about your linebacker group? You return a lot of guys there. I don't think they lost anybody from last season. Does it seem like a group that's got that playing experience a bit
Very much, and I think we got some tremendous depth. So I'm excited because you don't just come in here and say you're the starter. That guy's still got to earn that starting position. And especially when you don't go to a bowl game, that doesn't mean you come back as a starter that's an All-American, and we don't have any of those. So we are letting them start at a position, but it is ever-changing, and the best players are going to play, and they all know that, and that's why there's such good competition out there.
When you talk about getting the best players on the field, is that something where in the future position changes could still be an option through spring?
Absolutely. Very too early for me, only having been through 2 practices with the kids, but we will get the 11 best players on the field, and if that means moving some guys around, it will for sure happen. Probably won't be until at least the 3rd week.
Through some meetings and watching 2 practices, any guys jumping out at you as leaders, kind of establishing themselves with the defense?
Well, we have such a large group of seniors. I'm putting all the pressure at this point on those guys. So the younger guys will start to grow up and move into those positions as we get to pads. So I would say right now the seniors are doing a great job. The younger guys will start to form those habits as we get through. But it's really hard to jump a senior who's a captain or a leader early in practice, especially without pads on. So it's a little early for that.
Dane Jackson was a guy who seemed to make a lot of big strides last year. In your early impressions of what you can glean thus far, has he been a guy that's perhaps stuck out a little bit for you?
He has. Again, though, without pads, I'm not going to say anybody's stuck out because we're not allowed to hit anybody, but he's got certainly the skill level to be an all-ACC player.